The following episode describes graphic details of violence and murder. Listener discretion is advised. Welcome back to Unsolved Worcester. I'm your host, Dan Yeager. Today's episode combines a pair of the most recent unsolved homicides we've explored to date on Unsolved Worcester. 19-year-old Brandon Dirsa gunned down in broad daylight on Maxwell Street on November 30th, 2019. Jazmin Rosario, 5 days from her 18th birthday, is shot and killed outside of the Big Y on Worcester's west side around 2:30 a.m. on January 15th, 2022. There is very little new public information available in both cases. There are more questions than answers right now in these cases. The most striking questions: how do murders in Worcester in 2019 and 2022 receive such little attention from local media? And why hasn't local law enforcement provided any new information to the public? As of the time of this podcast, the unsolved murder cases of Jazmin Rosario and Brandon Dirsa aren't on the list of Worcester Police Department's unresolved homicide cases, but they should be. If you've listened to our podcast up to this point, you'll know there doesn't appear to be much rhyme or reason to what cases appear on the WPD's list. There are some cases on the list that haven't been updated, have misinformation, or like Jazmin's and Brandon's murders, and the cases of Travis Monroe and Jose Ortiz, to name a few, are nowhere to be found. Unsolved Worcester takes a deep dive every Tuesday into the unsolved murders and missing persons cases under investigation by the Worcester Police Department's Detective Unit and the Massachusetts State Police. Our goal is to remind residents of the Worcester area, both past and present, that there are dozens of unsolved homicides and missing persons cases that need resolution. We hope we can be the spark needed to solve a case. Be sure to visit Unsolved Worcester on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and listen to all episodes for free at unsolvedworcester.com and on your favorite podcast streaming platforms. Check out the video for this episode with exclusive aerial views and more on the Unsolved Worcester YouTube page. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It's just after 11:30 a.m. on Friday, November 30th, 2019. Brandon Dirsa is walking up the steps of his home on Maxwell Street on the Millbury Street side of Worcester's Vernon Hill neighborhood. He had just returned from picking up some groceries at the store. Before he can open the front door to the three-decker, an unknown assailant fires multiple gunshots, and Brandon collapses on the front stairs. He has been shot in the head. The next day, Saturday, November 30th, Brandon is pronounced dead. Reasons why Brandon Dirsa may have been shot and killed in front of his home on Maxwell Street are scarce. One report suggests that Brandon was killed over a girl. Witnesses told Boston 25 News they heard 3 gunshots, a pause, and then more shots fired at Brandon on November 29th, 2019. Neighbors said they saw at least one man running away from the scene toward Worcester Street. Police scanner reports after the shooting described a pair of suspects, black males in their 20s, wearing black hooded sweatshirts. They are believed to have fled the scene in a black Infiniti, headed toward Vernon Street. Reports also indicate that Brandon likely dropped whatever money he was carrying on him on the sidewalk after being shot. When he died, Brandon left behind his mom, his twin brother, and a host of family and friends. While Brandon will live on in the memory of his loved ones, his impact in the years after his death goes well beyond his family circle. Brandon was an organ donor, and in the 24 hours while hospitalized at UMass Memorial, Brandon saved the lives of strangers, donating both kidneys to people in need. Families of the people that received kidney donations celebrate Brandon's life, share his story, and advocate for organ donation on Brandon's behalf, using the hashtag #BecauseOfBrandon. The 19-year-old was a good athlete. He played baseball at Burncoat High School. And today a trophy is named in his honor at the Lou Gehrig Little League in Worcester. The Brandon Dirsa Memorial Trophy goes to the team that raises the most money during the season. If you search 1 Maxwell Street on Google Maps, you can still see a memorial at the base of the stairs of the multi-family home entrance. The memorial has photos of Brandon, candles, crosses, flowers, and a large letter B for Brandon. In spray paint on the sidewalk below the memorial reads, "Brandon's World." Let's fast forward a few years to Saturday, January 15th, 2022. It's around 2:45 a.m. Temperatures have dropped in Worcester well below 10 degrees. It is one of the coldest nights on record that winter. A 911 call is made to the Worcester Police Department. A person has been shot outside of the Big Y supermarket on Mayfield Street. When police officers arrive, they find 17-year-old Jazmin Rosario on the ground of the supermarket's parking lot. 15 minutes earlier, Jazmin had been shot. She is unconscious. Officers provide medical assistance before Jazmin is taken away from the scene by ambulance to a local hospital. Less than an hour later, at 3:23 a.m., Jazmin Rosario is pronounced dead. As we mentioned earlier, the lack of information available to us in today's case has made it difficult to piece together the life of Jazmin Rosario. Let's try to fill in the blanks where we can. Jazmin was born and grew up in Hackensack, New Jersey. She had only lived in Worcester for less than 5 years. She and her family lived at 21 Sycamore Street, a multi-family home at the corner of Beacon Street, which runs between Southbridge Street and Main Street. When she died, she left her mother and 8 siblings. In May 2021, Jazmin graduated from the alternative school at St. Casimir in Worcester, a high school for students with behavioral and academic issues who may be at risk of dropping out of school or have been previously expelled. Jazmin's high school graduation was held at Polar Park. In a statement issued by her family at the time of Jazmin's death, they described her as a one-of-a-kind soul who impacted the lives of so many people. They said Jazmin's smile was infectious, and she had a charismatic personality. Her family said Jazmin wouldn't be someone wandering the streets. In the days following her death, a makeshift memorial was placed at the front of the Big Y supermarket, with a stuffed animal, candles, flowers, and more in memory of Jazmin. Jazmin's aunt started a GoFundMe page on behalf of Jazmin's family to help cover funeral expenses. The fundraising campaign was able to raise nearly $10,000 from 130 donations. On January 20th, 2022, On what would have been Jazmin's 18th birthday, her family made a plea to the public to come forward with any information. Describing the situation as a nightmare, Jazmin's family asked for help bringing the vile criminal who had the audacity to take our loved one's life to justice. Jazmin Rosario was one of 12 homicide victims in Worcester in 2022. Roughly a year and a half later, Worcester police haven't publicly identified a suspect or motive in Jazmin's murder. But from the start, police have said the fatal shooting didn't appear to be a random act. The fact that shooting occurred so early in the morning likely means Jazmin knew her killer, and maybe they knew where she would be. The question remains, however, why was Jazmin outside the Big Y supermarket on a freezing night? What was she doing there? Thank you for listening. I'm Dan Yeager. Don't miss another episode. Click the notification button to get alerts when new episodes of Unsolved Worcester drop. If you enjoyed listening to this episode, please consider clicking the like button for us. And if you subscribe, the next episodes will show up in your feed. Click the bell on the right and select all, and you'll get a notification of when the next episode is ready. If you have any thoughts you'd like to share, please leave them in the comments below. We do read them all and respond to as many as we can. Anyone with information about the murder of Jazmin Rosario or Brandon Dirsa are asked to contact the Worcester Police Detective Bureau at 508-799-8651 or send an anonymous text at 274-637. Write TIP WPD plus your message, or send an anonymous web-based message at worcesterma.gov/police. Come back on Tuesday, October 31st for Unsolved Worcester's Halloween special. A short episode highlighting a reported poltergeist in a 3-decker home on Douglas Street in 1950. Special thanks to the Worcester Public Library, the Worcester Police Department, the City of Worcester, and our sponsors for making this possible. Information on the murders of Jazmin Rosario and Brandon Dirsa was gathered from multiple resources, including the Telegram and Gazette, WHDH TV7 News, Boston 25 News, Mass Live, Patch.com, and more. The Unsolved Worcester podcast music is provided by Tom Lebelzik of the Worcester Jazz Collective. This episode is written and produced by Pat Sargent. Drone footage is provided by Ron Scott at Chasing Daylight Studio. Videography and editing by Colin Turner. This program is supported in part by a grant from the Worcester Arts Council and the National Endowment for the Arts. To find out more about how National Endowment for the Arts grants impact individuals and communities, visit www.arts.gov.